Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into Red, White, and Bills. Got a fun video today. I've been wanting to do this for a while. You see a lot of talks. Joe Burrow better than Josh Allen better than Joe Burrow. I'm going to preface this video with they're two of the top three quarterbacks in the NFL. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is at the very top. He hasn't been dethroned. And at least for me, in my opinion, Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. This isn't a bash Burrow, bash Allen video. I try to be as biased. I try to be as fair as possible and present facts to you. I got 4 points I want to make. And then on the fourth point, we're going to get into the PFF 2023 QB annual to get into some more advanced quarterback stats. There's one stat or 1 point on here that has nothing to do with the quarterback. Well, kind of not to do with the quarterbacks, but I just threw it in there just for context because when you're talking about breaking down these two, context is pretty important. So without further ado, I'm going to get into my first point. Playoff performance. So a lot of people, they give Joe Burrow that number 2 nod because he went to a Super Bowl. And if you guys remember that year, they got a lucky defensive play against the Raiders when they were about to lose that game. Derek Carr was driving down the field. Then it was just a bad pass, intercepted, and they go on. Then Tennessee Titans game, neither team scored a touchdown, one off a field goal. Then they beat the Chiefs after the Bills and the Chiefs just beat the crap out of each other, and they went to the Super Bowl and they lost. Burrow's record 5-2. Josh Allen's record 4-4. Josh Allen's PFF grade or quarterback rating 99.6. Joe Burrow's 93.8. Passing yards. Josh Allen 2,334. Joe Burrow 1,826. Rushing yards. Josh Allen 417. Joe Burrow 101. Touchdowns. Josh Allen 17. Joe Burrow 9. And they both had 4 interceptions. So this is pretty even sample size, even though Allen's played one more game. But I'm not saying that Joe Burrow isn't a great quarterback. Again, this is just people want to bring up playoffs and, he got to the Super Bowl. But holistically, this is what they did in the playoffs. And, even with one more game, and if you took that game out, Allen would still be 8 touchdowns. He's 8 touchdowns ahead right now. So you could take off one game and give him 4. He's still ahead. So, it's pretty close in that metric. The Bengals defense clearly shows up in the playoffs, and they did that year. They went to the Super Bowl. The second point, which, it's really not indicative of the quarterback, but weapons, surrounding cast, especially now, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon. They have equally probably – I see the Bengals got a little bit better offensive line. Maybe this year we'll see what's different because we got Osiris Torrance and Connor McGovern. But they spent over $100 million on the O-line last year. So, yeah, they had injuries, but the guy that got injured was trash anyway. That guy from what school was he? I forgot his name, but the left tackle. He was buns anyway. So that's a wash for O-line, we'll say. The defense, we had a ton of injuries, and their defense was pretty stout last year. But we have Stephon Diggs, running back Devin Singletary, who I always loved, but isn't a top-tier running back. Gabe Davis, who was very inconsistent, and then you could put whoever you want at wide receiver 3. Doesn't even matter. Compare that to Chase, Boyd, Higgins, and Mixon. Joe Burrow's got clearly the better surrounding cast. So I just threw that in there because it matters. It really does matter. And as we get into the QB annual, you'll see a stat that proves that matters, and it'll be very telling. But, guys, I understand that Diggs is a top 3 receiver, and, him and Josh Allen make each other better. But as far as having trustful weapons, Joe Burrow really has nothing to worry about, and he could have a worst day of his life, and still have a chance to have a great game to come back because he's got 3 reliable weapons plus a running back. Now, I know Joe Burrow tore his ACL. So we're just going to compare 2021 and 2022 put together. Even though 2021 was Josh Allen's best year, we're not going to count it. We're going to count at least the last 2 years. So this is also pretty interesting because it's pretty even. We'll start with attempts. I'm doing this all added up together. So Josh Allen had 1,213 pass attempts in the last 2 years. Joe Burrow had 1,126. Total yards, Josh Allen had 10,211. Joe Burrow had 9,460. I didn't count fumbles, but interceptions, Josh had 29. Joe Burrow had 26. Obviously, Josh has way more fumbles, but I figured that was a way obvious one. But Josh, 29 interceptions. Joe Burrow, 26. Total touchdowns, Josh, 84. Joe Burrow, 76. PFF grade average together, Josh, 89.1. Joe Burrow, 91.2. So, again, they're pretty even at as far as statistics go. Obviously, Josh Allen runs a crap ton more than Burrow, which is why he has more rushing yards and which is why he has more fumbles. But, as far as totals go, it looks incredible for both players. And any GM would, love to have either of them. But again, this is a comparison for the two, and you can make up your own decision of who you prefer in the end. So before I get into the QB annual, I'm going to show it on the screen here. I'm just going to pull up a couple stats that I got before we're going to walk through and look at it together. Big time throw rate, which I believe is past 20 yards and above. I could be wrong about that, but Allen was number 1 at 7.3. And then I think Burrow was still in the top 5. I'll double check at 4.9. Turnover-worthy throw percentage, they only show the top 5. And Burrow was number 3 at 2.2. And Josh Allen wasn't in the top 5. It didn't show me more than the 5. And then passing grade, Joe Burrow was number 1 with a 90. Josh Allen was number 3 with an 85.3. But now we're going to get into some pretty interesting – I'm going to share the screen here. Some pretty interesting – it's called the QB Annual. I never actually used it before, but it's definitely an interesting tool. So I'm going to scroll up a little bit. I was looking at Josh individually. Let's get out of there. There's so many, if you download it, there's so many different things you can look at. Like, just look at this. All the pages are just it's going to take forever to load now. I know people have a love-hate relationship with PFF because if it fits your narrative or not. But as far as analytics go, this is the best that we got. So this is some of the top 5 stats I was talking about. Overall grade, Josh Allen number 1, 91.7. This was last year. Joe Burrow, 91.1, it looks like. Passing grade, I already talked about that. Big time throw. Rushing grade, Allen, of course. Accurate pass is actually really funny because it's like Brady's not in the league anymore. Daniel Jones is trash. Murray's trash. And Andy Dalton's trash. And this is a turnover-worthy throw percentage. And I got a bunch of cool metrics here. Let me just scroll down. There's a couple things else I wanted to show you before. This is just the average time to throw. Didn't really look at this one yet. Versus average depth of target. Clean versus pressure. Allen's over here. Burrow's over here. These guys are better from a clean pocket. These are the best. And the worst. And better under pressure. Kenny Pickett. Shout out to Kenny Pickett. No, this is wins above replacement, which is, I know in football it's a little bit harder than to do it in baseball. But this is one of the interesting things I wanted to talk about. Better with a weaker supporting cast. Josh Allen's basically all by his lonesome. Better with a stronger supporting cast. The Eagles got the best supporting cast in the NFL. Then you got the Bengals and Chiefs. So Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the NFL with a weaker supporting cast. Obviously, Joe Burrow is still a wonderful quarterback, and so is Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Kirk Cousins. But this is what is a very, very telling for me is what can you do with less? And I always say he does more with less, and it's proven right here, according to PFF and all the stats that they compile for the 2023 season. These people are worse with a weaker supporting cast, which is a lot of people, and worse with a stronger supporting cast. So that's really sad. Also, yeah, shout out to Tua. He's hovering over here because so they don't even know about him. But I thought that was a very interesting stat right here. It kind of proves one of my points. Let's see if there's anything else interesting here. Yeah, you guys should definitely check this out. It's if you got PFF, it's an incredible tool. Shout out to Mike Thornton from Nickel City Mafia though for letting me use his account because it's one of those things I cut my prices on to pay different bills. But now let's dive into the actual quarterback, like how I said, stable metric. Oops. There's more advanced analytics there that we can look at together. We could talk about it. Okay. Stable metrics. PFF grade percentiles among qualifiers. In the 78th percentile, clean pocket, 89th percentile on standard drop, 87th percentile first and second down, no play action, 92nd, beyond the sticks or at 90th percentile, and 36th percentile in avoiding negatives. Unstable metrics. So I guess obviously unstable is like when everything's not perfect. Under pressure, he's in the 98th percentile, which the percentiles are out of 100 basically. Outside the pocket, 89th. Third and fourth down, 88th. Play action, 61st. It's because we have a terrible line. Positively graded 92nd percentile. Passing grade from a clean pocket. Josh Allen is 7th. When he's pressured, he is 1st. Blitzed, 4th. No blitz, 3rd. Play action, 8th. No play action, 2nd. Under center, 2nd. Shotgun pistol, 2nd. Single high, 9th. Two high, 3rd. Safety rotation, 2nd. No safety rotation, 6th. 2-minute drill, 1st, which is all incredible. Let's see what else they got here. Throw type. See, they got everything here. Like, just under. Look at all this. Okay. Well, let's go to Joe Burrow now. And then we'll start wrapping it up. And then we can make our decision. No, not Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. Where's Joe Burrow? It doesn't make any sense. Sorry, guys. Ryan Tannehill. I want Joe Burrow. Ryan Tannehill. Why doesn't it want me to see Burrow? Joe Burrow. Let's see. Can we do it? It'd be kind of lame. So we got to scroll through till we find Joe Burrow. Tua. I just want to see Joe Burrow stats. That's all. No. Why is it doing this? Oh, here we go. Now let's see. Stable metrics. Wow. 97th percentile across the board. Pretty incredible. Unstable metrics under pressure. He's 88th. Outside the pocket, 69th. Third and fourth down, 95th. Play action, 24th. Positively graded, 82nd. Unstable metrics is where Josh Allen gets him in this category here. Now let's go down. Clean pocket, which I'm sure he doesn't get too often. He is first. Pressured, he is 7th. Blitzed, he is first. No blitz, 2nd. Play action, 26th. No play action, 1st. Under center, 18th. Shotgun pistol, 1st. Single high, 1st. 2 high, 5th. Safety rotation, 6th. No safety rotation, 1st. 2-minute drill, 4th. So a lot of information to unpack. However, let me see if I can remove that now. So yeah, I know it was a ton of information and it probably possibly bored you. But I mean, guys, whether you like Burrow or Allen, you really can't deny that these are the two of the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL. You see a lot of people like Nick Wright just write off Josh Allen completely. So, Caleb Williams is in the same level as him. He's not even an NFL quarterback. Everyone writes out Josh Allen. Everybody gives the praise to Joe Burrow. And, I just think it's warranted to have praise for both of them. I prefer, if I was to pick one of them, not just because I'm biased, because I'm a Bills fan, but Josh Allen's overall skill set and physical prowess, I would pick that over Joe Burrow. And again, you couldn't be wrong either way. Josh Allen beat him in a lot of good metrics, and Joe Burrow won a lot of good metrics. And the case I presented today, playoff record, playoff stats. Obviously, Josh Allen wins the stat department. Joe Burrow has more wins and went to a Super Bowl. He has better weapons, but they produce the same. Essentially, as far as interceptions go, they're in lockstep. Total touchdowns is within 10, and a PFF grade is within 1.5. So they're as closely related as you can be. And then the QB annual showed off a lot of good for both. And there's literally no denying that they're both in the top 3. I believe Allen is number 2. But again, being number 3 isn't bad. So when I talk to people and I say Joe Burrow is the 3rd best quarterback, I present to them my case, and they think it's like disrespecting him or, thinking ill of him. But then, if I don't say Jalen Hurts in the top 3, you don't see people saying, "Oh, well, he went to a Super Bowl, he should be in the top 3." It's just, I just feel like it's Bills hate, media hate towards Buffalo that make it such a lame thing where it could be really, really interesting. Like, we just broke down, and maybe people didn't realize how close they really were in production and overall skill set and what they do. Obviously, Josh Allen's more of a runner and more physical, which sets him apart from majority of the NFL. But as far as passing stats go, they're also pretty similar with that. And again, Josh has less. So that's why it's important to think about that when you dissect everything here. So there you go, everybody. Bills fans, Bengals fans, all NFL fans. You're all welcome to the channel. I want to keep growing the channel. A huge NFL fan base. It doesn't just have to be Bills fans. I'd love to see Bengals fans' point of view. Even if you're not a Bengals or Bills fan, please say in the comments what you truly believe. If you have any other facts you want to bring into this case to put the arrow towards Burrow or Allen, please put that in the comment section. Share this with your friends and your family. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you liked it. And if you don't like it, tell me how I can be better so I can serve you guys better. But till next time, go Bills. Again, shout out to Mike Thornton from Nickel City Mafia. Appreciate you for letting me use your account. Go subscribe to his channel. Does a lot of great work. Brett for the Go Bills podcast. Thanks for all your support as well. Go shoot them and subscribe as well. Thanks, guys.